Peace to the family, peace to the family, peace to you and yours. This is Know the Ledge TV, and you are now rocking with the best. All right, it's your host, Brother Blue, joined by the Brother Red, and we're gonna let the people fill into the room. All right, so we can chop it up.
Yes, indeed.
It's a KTN. Dig what I'm saying?
Yes, sir. Yes, indeed. We'll go ahead and launch my Instagram live.
Yeah, do that. Launch your IG. I'm gonna see if I can do the same over here. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Ain't put no ad up. Maybe I need to go and do that on the FB. It's been a minute since we've been on the live, so bear with us, family. All right. But we are back. We're in the building. It's been a minute, so you know we got a whole lot to talk about. Whew. I don't know what he been doing on Melanin Mondays, but
Was that a shot? What the fuck? Like, what are we doing? Is that a shot, bro?
nah.
All right. What's this, T'Challa Thursdays? What are we doing?
Ain't Thursdays no more.
Oh, it is Friday, theoretically. Okay. I see you.
Yeah.
I see what you're doing.
Theoretically, yeah. I mean, but you know, we buy coastal, buy global, so people still might be stuck on the Thursday vibe where they at. Shout out to you wherever you at, family. You
Yes.
know what I'm saying? It's all about you right now. You know, I'm the passenger, you the driver. We just here to chop it up. There's a lot going on. I'm getting a lot of like inboxes with people. They be sending me shit. They don't even ask. Can you talk about? They be like, yo, you need to talk about this.
Yeah. Niggas got push button topics.
Yeah, push button topics. I'm like, you don't even put a fucking quarter in the machine no more, huh? You just press play. That's cute. That's cute. So, you know, they got press button topics. A lot of them going on right now. Um,
Hot button topic.
hot button topics. I got people that nag and annoy the fuck out of me because of stuff that you say on your feeds as if I'm you. I'm like, why you don't go tell him that shit? Why
Like
always
what?
be nag me, huh?
Like what? What you talking about?
Uh, your brother's not a flat earther, and your brother thinks that the shooting in Florida is real. You know, you need to check him.
That shit is real. What you talking about?
Like, I don't even know nothing about no fucking. Oh,
Chill on the language. You gotta,
yeah,
yeah.
this is another thing. This is another thing. This might be one of the single reasons that I had to do a live tonight. You know, coming back from the
KT.
KT the Arch Degree event. I love these events. I love all events because events, trips, excursions into the outer worlds, right? Beyond the what they call the flat earthers say, the beyond the ice shelf and the ice wall,
Yeah,
right?
beyond the ice wall.
Yeah, when I venture beyond the ice wall, right, I get an opportunity to like meet our real audience. You know what I'm saying? Flesh and blood people that watch these videos and watch us on YouTube, and you know, people that say that we've been listening to y'all for 4 or 5 years. So I get to actually meet tangible people, and I'm constantly running into parents. You know, I'm
Yeah.
constantly I'm constantly running into mother and son teams or father and younger son teams. You know what I'm saying? And it's
Fact.
really giving me a general perspective of who our audience is, and it's giving me a larger responsibility when it comes to narrative and how the narrative is delivered. And I don't necessarily have to use expletives to get my point across, even though, you know, we do express it if you're in the heat of the moment. You know what I mean? These things, certain, you know, they have a tendency to fly. If you want to make an exclamation point on the point that you are making, sometimes you pepper it with language and speech. You know what I'm saying? It might be a little spicy. Dig what I'm saying? So that's where a lot of that comes from. Um, I don't just like what Chuck D said. You don't rhyme for the sake of what is it? I don't rhyme for the sake of riddling.
Yeah, Ritalin, not the
Right.
drug, Ritalin.
Yeah. Before riddling was riddling, it was riddling. Like riddle me this. Right. This is my Wakanda sheath family. This is to make officially part of your Wakanda experience. But it's the same way that I don't have to curse to get a point across. You know what I'm saying? I don't have to use I don't gotta use large languages to sound smart. You know what I mean? I could just speak my mind, and however it's received, that's what it is. Um, so I'm constantly reminded through my reflection, the people of my reflection about what this work is really about, how effective the work is, what's most effective, and just what our responsibility as messengers are. You know what I mean? And I'm thoroughly always humbled, when I meet the families, the mothers with their children, the fathers with their children, the entire family, you know what I mean? And adults trust us with their children's ears, right? And in between the ears is the brain, and not localized in the brain, but an extension of the brain, outwardly into this universe is the mind.
Mind. Facts.
You understand? And for somebody to entrust you with that is the highest honor. You dig what I'm saying? It's the highest honor. Walking away from the experience this weekend, observing this movie and seeing a lot of the conversations that have been taking place about this movie, this movie really showed me a lesson in character. And then I was able to fall back because KT had this monumental presentation coming up, it just passed yesterday on Thursday. I was mainly silent. I didn't really get into a lot of dialogue, and I'm glad that I was able to temper myself. I'm glad that I'm able to show a level of decorum where I could fall back and just observe and not be the commentator when everybody's like, yo, I want y'all to comment on this. I want y'all to comment on that. You team Killmonger, you team T'Challa, you this, you that. And I was able to fall back and just observe and just watch.
It's also Team Mbuktu. You gotta remember my
team Mbuktu. You know what I'm saying? You from the Jabari tribe.
Yo,
you know I was able to fall back and observe the whole situation. You know what I mean? And what I really didn't see discussed enough was character. Okay. And I know that it's just a movie, as the people keep reminding, everybody else on social media. Yo, it's just a movie. Scarface was just a movie. Let's not have this conversation. I don't want to drag nobody, when we talk about the fact that there's a lot of movies that our people choose to emulate as lifestyles. You know what I'm saying? The most toxic one, Superfly, was just a movie. You niggas think
Society was just a movie. Colors was just a movie. Boys in the Hood.
Boys in the Hood was just a movie.
You know?
All right. Richard Die Trying, believe it or not, was just a movie. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
8 Mile was just a movie. That don't stop white boys from thinking they can rap. You did. Mm-hmm. So, yeah. Peace, love, and light to the family.
I want to say, to add on to what you were saying, I don't want to
finish what I'm saying.
Yeah, go ahead.
Right. So, rarely was the topic of character discussed. You know what I mean? Rarely was the topic of character discussed. And I found that quite interesting. I've seen so many dichotomies in this movie, in the conversation that was spurned from the movie. You know what I'm saying? And I'm gonna reserve, that's a larger conversation that we need to have on a different platform, maybe at a different hour to engage more minds. You know what I'm saying? But going back to what we were saying, what I was saying initially is the highest honor that one can have is when somebody bestows them with the mind. You know, they allow you to feed their mind. They allow you to speak to their children. You know what I'm saying? They allow you in so many ways. You're like vicariously co-parenting in some of these situations. Because there be some times where these young women, you know, they can't get through to the young men and feed them certain information in a particular way that another man can do that. And then they don't have a man in the household. You know what I mean? I don't have to have a relationship with these women to have the ear of their children, the trust of them by way of speaking to their children, where they're like, look, I'm gonna sit you in front of the TV, you know what I mean? And you're gonna get some of this information. Now, as crazy as that might seem, as off to some people as that might seem, because they're like, man, that's not rearing children. That's not how you do it. Sometimes a conversation goes a long way, yo. You dig what I'm saying? Case in point, like we still repeat the axioms that we heard our grandparents and the elders bestow upon us. And sometimes it's just a phrase, and that alone can set foundations for your well-being in your life. Sometimes it could be this much to stop shorties from becoming thoughts, like a word, you know, a 5-word statement that resonates in their mind forever. You know what I mean? Where they like, yo, this is what I heard. You know what I mean? A elder woman that I respect say. You know what I mean? I remember there was small things that my father used to say that would resonate with me that never allowed me to get out into the street and shake narcotics. It wasn't full blown demonstrations of me seeing people getting their heads blown off or hearing, you know, being woke up at 3 in the morning by the shorty screaming in the street because their dudes just got wet up and all of that. Like it wasn't those traumatic experiences. It was just 4 or 5 word sentences. I'll kill you, nigga. You know, stuff like that. But real talk, you know, it, it's not. It don't have to be as deep as people make it seem. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes it could just be some stern info. It could be some cold blooded dialogue that could set a situation straight or put things into perspective. And you know, the more that I travel, the more that I make myself available, that's what I see that our contribution to this world has been. And I'm honored by it. It's an honor. I don't take advantage of it. You know what I'm saying? I don't let it get to my head. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm in service. There's nothing else but service. You dig what I'm saying? And I'm honored to be of available to be of service. You know, the people that I meet, the young people, are amazing people. I could tell. You know what I'm saying? They got good spirits. Like these are clean, wholehearted people that really are about love of their family, and it kind of resonates with them because they see us and they're like, oh, you guys love your family. You know what I'm saying? You love your mother. These young men seem like they love their mothers. You know what I'm saying? And even the ones that you can tell that they've been through some things, you know, because some of them sometimes their parents are not available. You know, they grew up in a household like that, but they want to get back to that place. They want to establish, you know, some way to get back to love. You know what I mean? And what it is that we're offering is helping them. However, it's helping them, even if it's this much. You know what I'm saying? Because I can't gauge totally what it is for everybody, every single person. You know what I mean? But for the most part, from what I can tell in my encounters with people, there's a genuine exchange, and I'm honored by that. You know what I'm saying? I'm really moved by it. I appreciate it. I'm appreciative, wholeheartedly. You know?
Yes, indeed. No, I share your sentiments. You feel me? Especially when it comes to, you know, the responsibilities that brothers such as myself and yourself have when it comes to disseminating this information to not only the people our age, but also the youth, like you said, the children, their children, because YouTube is TV. And the same way that we used to take in television as teenagers and young adults, it's almost the same way that people are taking in YouTube nowadays. Because the conversation is, oh, we don't even watch TV no more. But they don't want to they don't factor in how many hours they put in on that YouTube. You know what I mean? Because that's the new TV. So, I'm very mindful of my and I spoke about this in the last video that I did, my last Melanin Mondays, about the content of, some of the profanity and things of that nature and the way that it's used, right? So, that's something that I'm definitely going to pay more attention to and just learn to expand my vocabulary and tap into my ever expansive lexicon of words to make my points. You know what I mean? Because the MFing and the F word, the F bombs and all of that stuff, it doesn't necessarily have to be utilized because, like I said, I was embarrassed watching one of my videos with a group of individuals and some children. Like that it had me in my feelings for a minute. You feel me? I was kind of uncomfortable because the conversation, the video was dropping a lot of information, but yeah, I was looking at a lot of people. I was looking at their faces, and it was kind of like it just didn't work. It didn't sit right with me. So you feel me? Uh, it's just something that we got to move forward with and always put in perspective. Always got to put that in perspective. But tonight is after midnight, so
It don't matter. It's archived. You know what I mean?
I know it's archived. It'll be playing in the
I'm just saying, I
daytime.
just want you to realize that, you know what I mean, that you walk away from, you know, these situations thinking that it's localized to where you're at or when you do these things, and it's not. It's archived forever. You know what I mean? These are digital feeds of live streams. And
Footprints.
yeah, these are digital footprints that are gonna be here forever. So you speak as if you're speaking forever. Like if nothing else, family, and there's so much to be said about this movie. There's so much to be said about the air, you know what I mean? Because the air is different. It's ionized differently based on what people think, right? Your thought patterns are ionizing the atmosphere and changing things. You know what I'm saying? The weather has been warm in New York that I heard, you know?
Yo, B.
But it fluctuates,
It was
right?
like Honda yesterday in New York. It was 75 degrees, family. And the day before that, it was 70 degrees. This
I'm
is
in the South. It's not even, it ain't even that warm down here. It fluctuates, but it's not even that warm down here. They was calling me talking about, yo, son, like it's springtime in New York. I'm like, for real? But then it was like 40 after I can't even get with none of that. But I'm saying all that to say that different thought forms, right? Different ionization of thoughts, are ionizing the atmosphere differently. So with that being said, you know, again, if I didn't walk away with nothing this weekend based on the activity that was spurned by this movie, it was lessons in character, you know, in this ancestral realm, the spirit realm, you know what I'm saying? Like really tapping in because there were simultaneous things that happened outside of just the movie theater that was reaffirming, what I'm saying, our close connection or the need and the necessity to really get back into spirit realm and ancestors, you know. So there's going to be more of a internalization process, you know what I'm saying, a lesser camera time, you know what I mean, more family time, less camera time, more time with the elders, extracting information and lessons, you know what I'm saying, less time with my peer group necessarily, you know. There's not too much that I'm learning amongst people that are moving at the same speed as me. You know what I'm saying? I need to be amongst elders. I need to be closer to my ancestors, you know? So it's the extremities, it's the babies, and it's the elders. You dig what I'm saying? I got music for the people in between. Y'all can vibe out to that. But I'm just being quiet and listening to the elders and the babies. I ain't playing in my music. I ain't playing in my music. I'm just listening. I'm listening to their stories. I want to hear what the babies got to say. I want to hear what my elders got to say. You know what I'm saying? And then I'm taking that internal time to get into what my ancestors have to say because they're saying it through me and they're saying it around me. And I have to be coherent enough to hear that conversation because it's very important. Not just because I seen Black Panther, you know, no, that's just the backboard. You know what I mean? The bank shot is what's going on in my personal life that is pushing me towards, the gnosis that I need to, as they say on the West Coast, you need to check in.
Check in.
I need to check in.
Now I feel you on that, bro. You know, one of the things that I said about the movie is that the ancestors are undefeated. You know, what it did masterfully, outside of the many other things that the movie was able to do, was it brought ancestral veneration on a platter to the 85ers. And if you are an 85er, I'm not coming at you with a derogatory term. I'm just describing, who you are, the way that we call y'all. But for the Black Christian, the Black Southern Christian, the Black Baptist Christian, the Black Muslim, the Black religious folk, the Black knuckle dragger, you feel me? The Black child who is being trained and indoctrinated to look outside oneself, to the sky daddy, or to these imaginary, forces of a man, a European on a cross. But they don't talk about nobody teaches them the power of their ancestors. But they just came from the ancestor realm. They were in the ancestor realm, you've been here for about 30 or 40 years. They just got here. So they're still having dreams when they go to sleep, lucid dreams, these indigos and star seeds about the ancestor realm. So the movie did a masterful job.
They're having them inboxes and shit that I be like, you dream what?
Yeah.
Like, you tapped in.
Yeah.
I don't even go in there in my dreams. Like,
yeah. So
you ain't
the power of cinema when we deal with neurocinematics and things of that nature. For the brothers and sisters who watched the movie Inception by Christopher Nolan and Leonardo DiCaprio, and you understand about programming the subconscious, the 3 levels of consciousness, and with these ideas that are planted in the deep mind, the fertile mind, these people who were watching the movie, whether it was 3D glasses or not, the hype and the buzz and the anticipation was so great that people were walking in that movie theater expecting anything. So whatever they received from that movie, whatever came off of that screen through their 3D glasses, through IMAX, that's what they were downloading. And the children, if you see pictures going across social media, you could look in their eyes while they're watching a movie. All guards were down. They didn't go in there with their guards up. They didn't go in there, you know what I mean? They went in there wide open, ready to receive everything. So all I'm saying is, for the parents that are out there who wish to, further indoctrinate their children with the truth, take a page of that ancestral veneration and build upon it. Put the shrine together and show them that this is not spooky. You want to talk to your Black Panther ancestors. You want to talk to, your powerful bloodline and whatnot. You want some answers? Well, let's put these shrines up. Let's put these, altars together and begin speaking. If you got a sandbox in the back of the crib, put them in a sandbox. You know what I'm talking about? Whatever you have to do. But, we got to start utilizing our forms of propaganda to get our information and our mission and our, we got
narrative.
narrative. We got to get our narrative. We got to hammer it. And this movie gave you a super duper layup. We're going to spend a lot of time throughout the year dissecting the pros and cons of what all of us witnessed, right? We have time, there's a lot. I'm saluting every thought piece that I read over the last few days. There's some very intelligent people in the world who have dedicated. They were able to decipher a lot of surface messages. They were able to peel back all of the layers. I've been reading New York Times articles, The Guardian, The Atlantic. I mean, all of the black intellects have pulled up. They all pulling up. They all checking in, and they're sharing their interpretation of what it is that they saw. But one of the things that we have to walk away with while we're doing all of this dissecting is we have to utilize our intelligence to now tweak the story or tweak the narrative to whereas it could work for us. Case in point, I have a daughter. She's 4 years old. There's many people out here on the stream. They have daughters. This movie and its depiction of the image of the black woman as an equal, right?
As a melanated, as the African woman. Let's keep it 1,000.
Let's keep it a Buckington.
And more is I got mad conversations to have based on what I walked away with. We're gonna have to have this Moorish conversation at some point.
Yeah, one day.
One day. It's gonna happen. It's just gonna happen out of the blue. You know what I mean? And I'm gonna come with a textbook of information. You know what I'm saying? And not to offend nobody, but like it's just a checklist. When people claim matrilineal or patrilineal descent, right, and try to put some sort of ceiling on it when it comes to our people, there's just certain things that you got to bring to the table in order for me to hear you. You know what I mean? And I'm not backpedaling. I'm just saying, let's just get our stories together because you run a risk of looking crazy. You know what I'm saying? Once this narrative is reviewed, so I need to know what ancestral veneration looks like. I need to know what dietary regimens look like. I need to know what, you know what I'm saying, these ancient monetary systems look like. I need to know, you know what I'm saying, what form of housing did certain people implement, insulation, irrigation, transportation, you know what I'm saying? Were you city dwelling, metropolis sort of people? Were you mountain dwelling sort of people? There's a lot of things, and I'm not saying
plains.
I'm not saying that there are no answers to these. Yeah, like were you herders, sheep herders? You know what I'm saying? Did you live in the mountains? Did you live in the plains? Did you live underwater? Did you live on the water? You know. And again, I'm not saying, I looked at a marathon the other day on it was like, how they have the Planet Earth Discovery Channel?
Yeah.
And I was just looking at all of these programs, how people get it from the rough, you know what I'm saying? How to get it from the mud, what people have to do on this planet to eat. And you have to understand the domestication, you know what I'm saying, of the modern human. I'm not even just gonna say American, but the person that could go to the supermarket and get food. how they got it made, how such a part of their life has been simplified. You know what I'm saying? You're not the hunter gatherer aspect of what you do is you go and you do your 9 to 5, or you know what I'm saying? You hit a lick, or you do whatever else you're doing out there that you gotta go out
You
and
gotta
make.
hunt the bag.
Yeah, you gotta earn a bag, and that's how you go and eat. Other people is out there chasing their food. Other people is out there jumping in the ocean with spears, spearing whales, right? To obtain food for their village to eat for 6 months. Okay. And what I noticed in all of these demonstrations is that nobody was doing an individual approach towards eating. You know what
Facts.
I'm saying? Everybody worked as tribes. Everybody worked as a community. Everybody worked in unison, whether it was eating, whether it was sustaining the village, whether it was, whether they got into their religious practices or what have you. All of that was done in totality. So as I sit back and I watch what has not worked for the American, as I watch, right? Because they said, yo, somebody in the chat just said, yo, the Wakandans had a lot of Western ideologies or mannerisms, tendencies, right? Shout out to my brother Shahid Jennings L. He said a lot of the Wakandans had Western tendencies. My my G, Killmonger had mad Western tendencies.
He was the most westernized. He was
He
damn
was
near a cowboy.
we can't, and we in it, so we can't see it. But it's exactly what Son was telling him. You have became that which you want to defeat. You know what I'm saying?
Remember,
You have become that which you want to defeat. And
remember the
it's hold
hate,
on, hold on. Yeah, the hate you give little go ahead. You want to
the
drop
hate, the hate produced. That's what Walter Cron, what was his name? Walter Cronkite.
Cronkite?
Walter Cronkite. That was the tag that they put on the Nation of Islam. Matter of fact, shout out to Malcolm X. Okay, salute to that brother. We were supposed to do a special show last night on his. You know, hopefully we could touch on that tonight. But you become what you despise the most. When they put that tag on the Nation of Islam, I don't know if Elijah, Malcolm, and them caught that back in the '60s. That was a special that came on CBS. The hate produced. It wasn't a they don't you was not supposed to allow them to tag you like that. And fast forward to what our brother from Oakland, Tupac, not from New York, but he was in Oakland in the Bay Area. Tupac Amaru Shakur was able to create the acronym Thug Life. And Thug Life was the hate you gave little infants fucks everyone. That's Killmonger. Okay? That's where Ryan Coogler and them, they were writing it from that perspective. Okay?
It was it,
Killmonger.
it was Killmonger was a Black Panther narrative.
All day.
The American Black Panther narrative.
The what of the
T'Challa,
party?
yeah, the Black Panther Party, the bastards of the party.
He was the
Okay.
bastard of the party.
Killmonger was the bastard of the party. T'Challa, he was like, the Africans that you see today, that, you know what I mean, that are still tied into the ancestral aspect of that continent. You know what I'm saying? And of course, they gave it the fictional aspect of him being from a part of the continent that has never been colonized.
They
So
gave it
that
the Marvel touch.
yeah, they gave it so that no, I mean let's just not say that they gave it the Marvel touch. I'm just saying they put it in that realm of fantasy, which was necessary for them to create the narrative because the ancestral veneration, that line, that lineage, that chain has never been broken. You know what I mean? That's like you going into China, all right? And there has been blips, but just like somebody said, right? A brother that I met with the other day, right, who has done extensive work on the continent, he said 500 years on a continent is nothing. It's nothing. It's a blip of time. He said that they have, they have elders that they venerate in a particular society. I'm not going to give all this information out that he shared with me, but they got 150-year-old elders over there, you know what I'm saying, behind the veil that you don't even get to see. They on some Wizard of Oz shit. You feel me? You just go to them like how you go to a confessional booth. You know what I mean? And they give you the wisdom. You dig what I'm saying? But 2 or 3 of them, and you got your 500-year span. So us being removed from the bosom of that mother continent, you know what I'm saying? Um, and like I said, we can have all of these conversations later at some other point, where, you know what I'm saying? And all shots out to Wakanda and the Mexum. And I understand, I can even weave the narrative together and show you, you know what I'm saying? Once again, just like Black identity extremists, this is a conversation, Wakanda, that unifies Moors and RBG. You dig? Okay. And now it's bringing in other people into the conversation that are diasporically, in the Caribbean, and the family on the continent, and the family here, and the family over there, and the family over there. But y'all don't want to have that conversation. Because like I said, when you bring it to the table, family, you know what I'm saying? I need to know from the Moors, what were we dealing with in terms of ancestral veneration, right? On this continent. Were we dealing with Wakanda? Right? Because they said it's a native term. So what natives were you talking about? Huh?
They say that Wakanda is a native god deity. It's a godhead.
You know, you know what I'm saying? Is that Morris and Maxim? What are they talking about?
Yeah, were the Moors calling on Wakanda when they were in northwestern Mexico? We need to know these things, because if it is a godhead, I just want to know who's been calling on him. You know what I mean? And I appreciate,
But did the Moors only have Allah over here? Well, where did Wakanda fit in? You know what I'm saying? Was that later? Like, can we get some historians to the table so we can have this conversation, so we can stop pump faking and looking crazy globally? Because I mean, personally, just me, for myself, I want to go to the continent now. I got some research I need to do. You know what I'm saying?
Facts.
I'm in that bag. And I don't know if it's necessarily just because of a movie. Like I said, I went through a series of things this weekend. And it all spoke to that there's just certain, like, I can't make transition off this planet without me saying I went to the continent to see certain things for myself. Just the beauty of it alone speaks to me. You know what I'm saying? But the culture as well. There's so much information that came out by proxy because of this movie. Just the articles alone, just like you said, my bro, I have a notebook full of articles. I got a notebook. I've been introduced to an entirely new understanding. Just from the articles on my Facebook timeline. Thank you, Facebook, because I gave up on Facebook a long time ago. I was on my IG. I'm like, look, FB's for parents. Like, it's for parents and niggas trying to market. You dig what I'm saying? Some shit that I don't want. But my timeline was lit, son. Like, I read about so many tribes that I have a high level of respect for, that I want to research further. You know what I'm saying? I want to know these histories. I want to know what happened. I want to know who these people are. I want to know how they live. You know what I'm saying? It's mad stuff that I want to know. They opened me up to a plethora of just new worlds, like worlds on top of worlds on top of worlds. You know what I'm saying? I want to pack my bags and just travel globally, like not only the continent. You know what I'm saying? I want to go to just mad indigenous places. You know what I'm saying? I just I want to check the indigenous out to see which one of these tribes I want to settle down with to learn their customs and their ways.
Oh, you
'Cause
trying to catch you a
I don't
Lupita?
want to do this. I don't want to do the city shit.
I'm reading between the lines. You trying to catch you a Lupita? I see you. You ain't slick. I
I
see
mean,
you. You not slick. You trying to catch you a Lupita?
I definitely want to catch a beat up, but
I'm on my Forrest Whitaker these days.
that's beside the point. I don't wanna catch me Lupita and make her cosmopolitan. You know what I'm saying? I wanna respect her ways, customs, and traditions, and I wanna honor that. You know what I'm saying? I wanna raise children in that. You feel me? I wanna raise children in that. You know what I mean? And not even on no fictional Wakandan shit. Like, no, what these tribes have established already seems like it's good enough. It just needs to be venerated. It needs
That's
to be
right.
protected. It don't need to be Americanized. You know what I'm saying? I don't need to take my Killmonger attitude outside of these borders.
Well, one of the beautiful things about the depiction of Killmonger, because ultimately Killmonger is a mirror, man in the mirror. You're able to see Black American, right? Black American, we could talk about the Black American female in a minute, but Black American males, thug life. Remember, your Killmonger is being broadcasted. Killmonger is being broadcasted all around the world, and he's touched the continent. He got banned in China, right? He's over in Brazil. He's in Alaska. He's everywhere where people have TVs, World Star, BET. So Killmonger arrived on the continent before you did. It's a mirror to show you how you really look in the eyes of not only the Africans, but everybody else who you claim um, uh, DNA lineage with. Yo, we the original Chinese. Yo, we the original Scots. I'm Cheddar Man and all of that. Well, listen. All right. Listen, Cheddar Bob. Your image, right? Your image is Killmonger. You're a mercenary. You get rich and die trying. You have
Right.
all of the face tats and the markings all over your body and the teardrops of all of the work that you done
You
put
don't
in.
have no love for women.
You choking. They had the nerve to say, "Oh, Killmonger didn't respect a woman. He killed his own girl and choked out the elders." Well, God damn it! And this was coming from crack dealers. This was coming from people who serve work to pregnant women. This was coming from people who done drag
Pimp,
thoughts. They pimping. They done sold women on the boulevard and drag thoughts through the mud. And y'all niggas got the nerve to not see yourself in that depiction of a broken and a sick man. Thug life. The hate you gave little infants F's everyone. That's what they showed you. So the therapy session that was taking place in that movie theater, like I said, if you were open to it, if you allowed certain things, if you were taking that medicine from that heart-shaped flower, you was able to sip on that purple liquid, you could come out of that movie theater somewhat healed. But it's a healing process, not going to happen overnight. So when you go to the continent, you should go to the continent the way the Killmonger should have went to the continent. He should have went to the continent ready to be healed. He could have got some good yoni from one of them bald-headed chicks. Forrest Whitaker could have cleaned them up. They could have laid them in the sand, and they could have fixed Killmonger.
Killmonger didn't want to be fixed. You know, he has that pain that can only be fed. It's an insatiable desire. It's a bloodlust. And you can never feed that. You can never feed that demon. You can never feed that dragon. You know what I'm saying? And it's a pain that we collectively share as a people. Like I really wish we can take the fantasy out of the movie and have a town hall meeting just based on the narrative that was brought forth. You
Look,
know, so
we
we
could
could
do
touch on
anything.
right there.
Going what
It
who hold on.
was some
We're gonna
amazing.
we're gonna we're gonna upload this video to YouTube, and I'm not even gonna mention these names as if we need anybody to carry us. But y'all can at Charlemagne the God, what CT the God, C the God. You can at all of these celebrities at my dude brother Love. I was watching the Four. Me and my son been watching. We was binging on the Four with him and Billy. I like that show. Yeah, at Brother Love. You know what I mean? At everybody who's claiming that they want to help their people. They had it in before, at the Rock Nation brunch, they were talking about black excellence, him and Jay in the window. At all of them and say, yo, the pills and the brothers from the community said, let's put together this town hall meeting. Remember, like you said, Blue, there's a lot of negative ions in the air now. And for people who don't understand what a negative ion is, because anytime you hear negative, you think something, is negative. That's totally the opposite. Negative ions is a positive thing. And that means that your thoughts can manifest in a quicker manner now because everybody collectively, it just did 500 milli, right? It did 404 over the weekend, and it was filmed in a
Right, because it was a 4-day weekend.
it was a 4-day weekend, and it got filmed in a
It was
404 at Tyler
filmed in
Perry
the
studio.
404.
You know what I'm talking about? So you now have the opportunity to manifest anything. Remember, we live in a very special time, family. So if you think about it, if the drive is strong enough, what you just said about this town hall, where we could extract not the fantasy from it, we could put it in a strainer and take the real life applications, put it in that strainer, cook it in a
Yeah.
pot, put it in a
What,
Pyrex, and
what
let it rise to
creates
the top.
what creates a killmonger? Okay, and is a killmonger an acronym for a nigga in America? Right? Because we celebrate our killmongers.
We do.
We have a death culture that promotes and propels our killmongers. Right? It's
Mm-hmm.
niggas running around right now with red flags hanging out their back pocket defending a nigga that got rainbow color hair. Okay? Who wants to be promoted in our community as the next killmonger? Huh? How about that?
Mm-hmm.
Hmm? The weekend that this movie was out, they had no fly zones in LA because they have two gangs who are competing Killmonger energy saying, you can't come out here, you got to check in. Right? And they just so happen to be a red and a blue gang.
Yeah.
Killmongers.
Killmongers.
Right? And one of
Mm-hmm.
my fellow Killmonger brothers from that blue gang got on Breakfast Club today and said he wants to produce a documentary on Dr. Sebi, but he never checked in. Killmonger.
Mm-hmm.
But shout out to Nipsey because I love that brother.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And I know that he means nothing but good. That's a good brother. Sat around him. I extracted nothing but knowledge from this brother. You know what I'm saying? He has transcended his condition in terms of being and he taught me more about what that gang life is truly about than anything else in his family. You know what I'm saying? It's deeply entrenched family, but unfortunately, because of the conditions that we live in this society, you know what I'm saying? We can't produce nothing but killmongers, you know, out of that. One in a million, you're gonna get a Nipsey, that's a one in a million, because Nipsey is different than any other thing that you see coming demonstrated out of those situations. But those situations intrinsically are built around a killmonger persona, somebody that's so broken because of their social condition that the only pleasure comes from putting in that work. You dig what I'm
So
saying?
when
Like I
you
said, hold on, let's just go back. An intrinsic, an intrinsic, unapologetic, no love relationship with women is what Killmonger demonstrated, right? Just like KT pointed out, he didn't have a mother,
they never showed the mother, they never talked about.
motherless child. Never showed her, never talked about her, and all of his aggression was targeted towards women.
Mm-hmm.
All of it. But you team Killmonger. I understand why. I'm not even going to be judgmental because you can't even see your condition because of the society that we live in. I dig it. So people are so focused on T'Challa's relationship with the white boy, but
Mm-hmm.
nobody wants to, really focus on what was Killmonger's relationship with these women? Why was she the enemy? Why did he bang so hard? So you damn right. A town hall meeting would be something again. Universe always provides these opportunities to have these discussions so we can stretch the narrative a little bit wider, you know what I mean? So we can see ourselves, you know what I mean? And hopefully we could get that atonement moment going where people stand up, be the first one, to set things off, to be like, look, I just want to atone for the sins, not to my father, but to my mother. And this ain't about no black women as God shit. We ain't talking about that. I'm just talking about straight up overstanding what has been done to us in the wilderness of North America in the way that we have been pitted against, you know, our counterpart. If
From
that
hold
we,
on.
we can't even see it, Joe.
From, and this is no offense to anybody from the town, but according to Pimps Up, Hoes Down, or going all the way back to Iceberg Slim, Fillmore Slim, the pimping was started out, it didn't start there, but the pimp hand, the pimp hand got the smackdown. That shit, Oakland.
They had to put short on.
Huh?
Short dog.
Short
Short.
dog, short dog. You know, so from that perspective, understand how well the story was written. You get a character who's motherless, like Blues pointed out, from
Yeah.
Oakland, you know,
Like another
and they started it what year?
92.
Year of gangster rap. The beginning of all of that gangster rap shit. The beginning of
Yeah,
Colors,
I
not the
love them
beginning of it.
hoes.
Not the beginning of it. The
The
beginning of
year.
the beginning of the beginning of whatever those people at Interscope, whatever those people at Universal, those billionaires, huh?
Priority.
Priority, those billionaires who sat in smoke-filled rooms and got together and said, we're going to, their stockholders and them, they said, we're going to become venture capitalists and we're going to invest in the downward spiral of the image, right? Of these people. Think about this, who are on the path to doing what? Going back to their Wakanda self, because conscious hip hop was more so in the lane of a T'Challa mentality. And I'm not talking about the isolationist aspect of it. I'm not speaking about that. I'm speaking about the regal nature of him. I'm speaking about his veneration for women. Who you calling a bitch? Right? I'm talking about what was coming out of the golden era of hip hop where they were holding up black women and venerating them. Okay? That's what was disrupted. That is what was because the gang banging, remember, these things, people, niggas get shot every day. New York was the murder capital in 1990. It was, violence was always taking place. What really changed everything and what really put us in a reverse was when they popularized the mainstreaming of the disrespect, the total disrespect, the adverse disrespect of the womb of the black woman. And that took place during the era of what is known as gangster rap. Some people who are listening to the show, you might not have been born. You might have been in the crib during that era. So it's hard to conceive it. There's no coming of age stories that point it out. I don't even think there's a lot of books that have been written that actually point out what took place and what happened, what kind of shift took place. You had to be there. You need to go talk to Uncle Ray Ray and you know what I'm talking about? You need to go sit down like Blue Pill said earlier. Speak to the elders right now. These people are checking out at 40 and 50 and 60 and 70 these days. You got to set up a camera and a tripod and begin to capture the gems, because you're not going to get it. MTV and Netflix is not going to give you a proper story. You know what I'm saying? They're not going to give you a proper interpretation. Even if you're watching the Death Row Chronicles, it's still not going to exactly point out what happened, but it's giving you an idea. So yeah, when all of these things started, we don't love these hoes, and Dre pouring champ and 40 ounces on a woman and whatnot, and the total disregard for the womb, that's when we began to go into the sunken place as a nation, as a people. The crack selling to pregnant women, the allowing women to sell,
to niggas, nanas, to their mamas, to their babysitters, to their aunties.
Getting neck from another man's mother in front of him, running trains on niggas' grandmoms. Like, that's the kind of savage behavior that has casted a very dark cloud and has put a permanent stain on niggas. And you will always be cursed. You will always be at the bottom of the barrel. You will always get shot down like dogs if you don't atone for that, if you don't clean that up. I don't know why Negroes don't understand this shit. You're not going to dance this one away. You know what I'm saying? You're not going to pray this one away. You're not going to Jesus walks this one out. You have to atone to the ancestors who watched all of this shit take place. So, I watched it go down, and I know that it's real, and I know that we all got some Killmonger in us, and if we don't utilize urban alchemy, it's going to eat us alive, right? It's going to eat us alive. He was willing to sacrifice everything for the big payback. But he didn't have a 100-year plan. He didn't even have a 50-year plan. He burnt the goddamn plan. That was the plants. He burnt the plant. He burnt the bridge.
Burnt the bridge.
He could no longer cross back over. He burnt the bridge forever. So, gotta talk about these things, man. The Jay-Z's of the world, Billy, I'm glad that he's in a position to where he's mature enough to atone, because the 444 album was great for his atonement to Beyonce. But when is he going to atone for these crack babies? When is he going to atone for these brothers and sisters, the Khalif Browders, who never made it to get a documentary made about them? This nigga's up north right now doing 80 and 100 years. You know what I mean? Khalif Browder got locked up for a book bag, and Jay-Z was behind the documentary, but Jay-Z never produced a documentary of the brother who got caught with a book bag of kilos of cocaine, who was following Jay-Z's lead. He didn't do a documentary about that one. You know what I'm talking about? So there's some atonement. There's some responsibility. There's some sit downs that have to happen. And we're in the position to do these things these days because they're coming around. I'm here to let you know this. They're coming around. They're in the position to have these talks. So, you know, this is this transformation, because everybody was like, yo, if Killmonger and T'Challa was able to work together, or you got some people that's out there that was like, yo, if they were able to split them in half and bring them together, that's the perfect black human being. So I'm saying that, you know, we can do that. We can do that. We could bring both of those we could bring that double consciousness together. We could bring those polarities into one. That's so doable. That's so doable. You know who I see as a T'Challa figure in these nowadays times? And it's interesting that he was behind the soundtrack, and you know, it's interesting the way that he moves. I don't know that man personally. I don't know what his life is about, you know what I mean? But I know that his image and his persona is the closest to T'Challa in the rap game, and that's Kendrick. When you think about that.
And they're not talking about how good that soundtrack is doing.
10,000 years ago, we switched over.
Yeah.
Yeah, that the soundtrack is crushing, they said. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, it is? It would definitely crush.
He said it's crushing.
So when you see the T'Challa character, the regal nature of him, the surrounding of women, elders, and community, right? He has a team. The team is back behind him. You know, shout out to SZA, Absol, Punch, and all of them on TDE. The fact that Kendrick has Compton, he has LA behind him. He has black women behind him. He is a T'Challa of today. King Kunta, by the way that he's carried himself. He got superpowers. Okay? When he gets on stage, he does those performances, he's tapping into Kung Fu Kenny. There's a superpower that he's able to emit. All right? I've seen that. I've seen it. I've felt it, and I'm identifying that. He's an example that these youth are looking up to, that are part of the quote unquote the blacktivist movements, the activists, the ones who graduated from BLM. Now they're on another wave. Now they're on a woke wave. They might graduate into consciousness and then into super consciousness and then into the gnosis or something else that comes after that. But everybody needs a reference point. The same way that when we was out hustling and trying to get the bag and we want to get that fast bread, we were able, the power of hip hop is that's our modern day fan. That's our modern day Marvel comics. That's our modern day, you know, for people who, I don't read all them people that I don't even read comics. You know what I mean? They listen to hip hop. That's their new comic books. We were fortunate enough, me and you, when we were younger, we had comic books galore. We were comic book heads. We had comic books plastered on our wall like wallpaper. If anybody that used to visit our house, we was teenagers. You know what I mean? Like
wall to wall, from top to bottom.
You know what I mean? Born, Spider-Man, X-Men, Jim Lee. You know what I'm saying? All of them going all over. Image Comics, Dark Horse.
All them joints. You know what I'm saying? We was comic book heads. We was hip hop heads. You know, we had every album to go along with all the comics. You know what I mean? And then we started drawing ourselves. You know, we started getting into comic book drawing. You know what I mean? Comic book characters. We had our own characters. You know.
That's why I say that we're living out our dreams. We're living out this reality that we exist in is a reality that speaks directly to us because, you know, I mean, everything points to our childhood. Like everything that we were into as child is popping right now. Everything that people used to look down when we were children, like I ain't with, you know what I mean? Like everything is in right now. Consciousness is in. Being vegan is in. Comic books is in. You know what I'm saying? Polo is back. You know what I mean? That's in, or that made a comeback. You know, hip hop is ruling the world. Everything that I immersed myself in as a teenager, that I fell in love with, that was a part of my DNA and makeup, is on the front of the frontal lobe of the world. It's in front of everybody. It's the mainstream right now. So I'm able to, I'm comfortable in this world in a sense, because this is my world. You know, albeit all of the craziness is going on. That's just that's the polarity, that's the duality. I'm cool with that because I got solutions for that. I'm good with that. That shit don't affect me. And you know, being smart is cool. Being conscious is cool. Being into your blackness is cool. Like in '03 and '93 and 20, that shit was not cool. Okay? Not what was up. So fast forward to,
At all.
Yeah. Shorties wasn't sliding in your DM because you had a lexicon in a vernacular. You know, they wanted the crack sellers. They wanted the killers. They wanted the pimps. They wanted dudes to choke them out.
They wanted the killmongers.
They wanted their killmongers. That's who was preferred on the pecking order of the black man. You understand?
Chalice.
Not the T'Challas, not nobody with no regal nature. They wasn't responding to shit like that. Maybe Jill Scott and them, but you know, not the majority. So we live in a very interesting time. That's why I say this is a very precarious time. What a time to be alive. Shout out to Drake and Future. But you know, it is what it is, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, we have the ability to write our future in the now. I don't never want to hear no Negroes complaining. I will block you like Bosco 100. Blocked. Niggas get blocked.
Blah.
Blah. Blah. Blah. Blah. Get out of here. Blah. Like I'm blocking all of that from my reality. Like, you're just not mature. You're still in the oven. You're not finished baking. Like, you know, and I understand because there's phases to this consciousness. You might be going through. You half baked. You're going through your angry phase, but I just don't have time for that right now. There's so many people who could deal with that and cater to you. There's a lot of new teachers that just got on the scene, and I guess it's their responsibility to grow you niggas up. But go ahead.
Not mine.
No, not mine.
Not mine.
Mm-mm.
I dealt with some things where I know what the detriment of anger can produce. You know what I'm saying? I'm not engaging in it. You know what I mean? I'm even giving suckers a pass. Like, go ahead with your sucker shit. I'm not getting pulled into that. You know what I mean? I'm about family. You know what I'm saying? I'm about these babies. Got an album coming out where, you know, album's kind of aggressive. You know what I'm saying? I got some commentary for the suckers, but for the most part, you know, I'm not focused on that. You know what I mean? I want to deal with the excellence that this inert, you know what I'm saying, the inner excellence. I'm not really focusing on the outward. I know that's gonna take care of itself. I know that there are black excellence amongst us that y'all gonna figure it out. Y'all gonna get to it. You know, I gotta go build my own Wakanda for whatever that means. I don't have to justify that to the fucking world. You dig what I'm saying? And it's not a fantasy. Um, you know, Dubai was a fantasy at one point.
Vegas was a fantasy. How about that?
Vegas was a fantasy. How about that?
South Beach was a fantasy. How about that?
Niggas ain't talking about Black Wall Street no more though.
Hollywood was a fantasy. How about that?
Fantasy. The niggas, you ain't gonna hear nobody talk about Black Wall Street no more. They gonna talk about Wakanda. You know why? Because Wakanda had a defense system.
Yeah.
Just that enough allows people to mentally trump where they don't want to go back to, but futuristically where they want to go. Even if it's a fucking fantasy, allow people their fantasy. You understand? All right?
Allow them to be great, Billy.
Allow them to be great. You don't know what comes out of that. I keep telling you, all the technology the European is running with, not the stuff that you can trace and say, yo, it's from your illustrious past. It's from the 1960s, from the mind of Philip K. Dick. Pause.
Mm-hmm. And Gene Rodder, who was his name?
Roddenberry and all of them.
Roddenberry.
Right? Carl Sagan.
Yeah, don't play yourself.
Right?
Don't ever play yourself.
The quote unquote reality that you are immersed in right now comes from the minds
of the futurists, of these futurists.
Larry, Terrence McKenna, right? The white boy that was slamming acid, you know what I'm saying? The tabs and going into other dimensions and coming back with information and putting into theoretical science and applications. And now you have apps, and now you have technology. Now you have software and hardware, and this is what they're running shit off of. So why you can't dream? Why you can't allow your babies? Why do you have to point out all of the subtleness of this movie to say, well, Shuri was having them do this and they was doing that and this meant that, and because they had the white boy there, it was, yo, the babies don't even see that. You know what I'm saying? You pointing out things to them that's non-factors. The only thing that they see is this melanated people on them screens looking glorious, and that's what they want to resonate with. They don't need the subtlety. They don't understand the subtlety. It don't mean nothing to them. That's you old niggas. Okay.
What does that say?
We can build you.
Who's the title? Who's the author?
Philip K. Dick. Pause.
Pause. Pause. Pause. That's their futurist family. In case y'all didn't know, we giving you something. Go and do your research. That is their master teacher. That is their futurist. He's the one that's their architect in the Matrix. He built their future. You don't hear these Europeans will venerate their founding fathers and they'll revise their founding fathers' stories to make it more glorious. But they're focusing on their futurists. Who is your futurist? Y'all want to give me a lot of your, and you stay in the past a lot. You, like I said, y'all hopped in the DeLorean and they got repoed when you were in the past. None of y'all are dealing with the future enough. You're not dealing. The only future that you're dealing with is Molly Percocet future. You're not in the future though. You need to make it into the future. And we always said this.
You know, the sister made a point. She said the scene after the credits kind of threw her off. They're gonna share the vibranium with the others. Again, you know, there was a underlying narrative in this movie about globalism. You know what I mean? And let's reiterate, all right, especially when we get to this point. It's a movie. T'Challa as the king of a sovereign nation, right? The way that you deal with other sovereign nations is that they have a forum set up for that. It's called the United Nations, and that's where he has to go and address other sovereign nations. Okay, he didn't want to go the back road route. That was already established in the movie. You know what I'm saying? So he wasn't gonna do the Homeboy Network, and you know what I'm saying, he wasn't gonna be the plug, right? He wasn't gonna be the El Chapo, the head of the cartel, supplying, you know what I'm saying, all of the runners in different districts and cities and what have you. He is a diplomat. He's a statesman, so he dealt with things in a stately manner, and he represents a nation. So he was bringing his nation onto the global platform, onto the global stage, and theoretically, the only way to do that is through the United Nations. he's civilizing other nations. That's what we have always done as melanated people when we were, you know, in position of power. We civilized. You know what I'm saying? In the way that we civilized, okay, if we want to take a page out of the Moors, right? If we want to take a page out of other great African nations, we civilized with our science and our technology. That's what we did,
with our STEM.
right? Science,
That's
technology,
STEM.
right? What's the E stand for?
Engineering.
Education, engineering,
Yep.
math,
Math.
right? That's what we did. That's how we did it.
That's
So
the African in us.
that's the African in us. You know
That's
what
the
I'm
African DNA. It's STEAM. That's STEM.
saying?
STEAM.
Yeah. There's no other way that you can conceive of it being done necessarily. I would love to have seen him go to the African Union and do it. But now I'm trying to defend the script that I don't really, because they're setting the script up. It's after the credits. So they're setting that script up either for the next movie, whether that be Avengers or Black Panther 2. I'm not going to sit here and defend the script. I don't know necessarily how it's going to play out. You dig what I'm saying? But they had to show you the arrogance of the rest of the world about how they will receive, right, the attempts of a sovereign nation that has all of the riches, because T'Challa, according to the Marvel comic universe, is worth $90 trillion. Shout out to King Simon. He showed me that this evening. $90 trillion. So here, right, they think that he's just a sheep herder. He comes from a country where he's just a sheep herder. So they're looking down on him. They're snubbing their nose at him in his nation that has nothing to offer, a body of nations. When he's coming in there, he really got the bag. He really is the plug, right?
Mhm.
The arrogance of these other nations. So he's going to be in control of that body of nations, hopefully by the next movie. And that's how you take your position as the leader of the free world, period. He did it. He's going to be able to do it diplomatically. And again, we're sitting here and we're lending credence to a movie. But as diplomats or people that perceive themselves to think like diplomats, we're saying, okay, if one would take a diplomatic approach because it's chess and not checkers, this is how one would do it. You have to move a piece. And that's how he chose to move his piece on the board. So let's not get too caught up. You know what I'm saying?
Diplomatic
Let's
immunity.
caught up. Huh?
Diplomatic immunity. Drake told you.
Yeah. You know. Did you see the second credits? Did you see Bucky at the end?
I saw Bucky.
See Bucky.
With
But
no
again,
arm.
yeah, you know,
But
KT the
Bucky ties into Civil War, and then he ties into the new Avengers coming up.
R3. If you haven't been following none of these decodeds, okay, because the brother been doing decodeds for many, many years now.
Many years.
He's decoded all of these movies. If you haven't followed the narrative, if you don't know what the backstory is, if you don't know what the underlying narrative, who these characters are in your African mythology, first, shame on you. Second, don't jump out there because you don't know what you're looking at. You're just looking at the facade of what they're putting on the screen, but what's behind the screen? What story is the story? Okay? And that story is playing out beautifully if you know what you're looking at. But you gotta holler at KT. KT the Arts Degree. Go on his YouTube. He's giving up a lot of information for free. I would charge niggas out the yin yang if it was me. Just being honest. All right? Because this is college course. This is college course blurb nerd shit. Like niggas will pay for this. Okay?
Word.
Niggas will
The
pay
universe done expanded.
and when you won't pay for it, white boys will. Okay.
You know.
So it don't matter. You take the bread back to Oakland and build a motherfucker, build a daycare center. That's how you do that.
Wakanda Daycare Center.
How you do it. That's how you clean that up.
Because like I point out, KT's been talking about the road to Wakanda for 4 years now. He's been on this for 4 years.
4.
You know what I'm saying? Niggas they didn't even know what Wakanda was when they heard about it. He's been teaching about this. He knew that Chadwick Boseman was gonna be the Black Panther and put it on film.
Before Chadwick knew. Before
A year
Chadwick.
before Ryan Coogler knew. How about that?
Before Chadwick or Ryan Coogler knew. Before there was a Ryan Coogler to direct the Black Panther, KT was saying who the characters were going to be, and he laid the whole goddamn movie out 4 years ago. 4. You know what I'm saying?
What does that say about that man?
Yeah. What do that say about him? He been told you about vibranium. He been told you about the heart-shaped herb, and even went and found the shit in real life. You dig what I'm saying? So y'all don't take care of your real life superheroes, let alone your fictional ones. You can miss me with all that other shit. You dig what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So somebody said there was a white boy at KT session today. Yeah, he worked for the movie theater. He was helping them out. Like, huh? Come on now. Let's not even do that. Right? There was one white boy in the movie. There could be one white boy in the Dakota. Right? Now they got token white boys. When you ever heard that? Token white boys. We in a new day. In the midst of white supremacy. Mind you. Come on. Y'all not exciting enough, man. Like I said, I want to go find me a tribe and just chill the fuck out because this shit is just not exciting enough. Like nobody sees it. You know what I'm saying?
And no, but this is my thing. This is to point out to the community at large. Because somebody mentioned earlier in the program that they're gonna make a weed strain called Wakanda, and that's where we have to have the conversation. Like I said, KT gave you Wakanda 4 years ago. KT laid out this Black Panther shit for you years ago. If you were forward thinkers, if you were prepared for the future instead of worrying so much about the past that you have no control over, you would have been prepared for this $500 million rush. Because right now in the comment section, niggas is pocket watching Stan Lee and Marvel. But if you were prepared to cash in on the windfall that Wakanda and Black Panther is bringing, you would have been able to benefit. And then somebody be like, "Oh, I don't want to take money out of Chadwick's mouth." Nigga, it's a free for all. The shit is a boom. What are you talking about? In one breath, yo, Marvel took $500. Did you see that scene where Stan Lee was in the casino and he took the chips? Nigga, Stan Lee been had chips. Stan Lee he owns the intellectual property. Get over it. He created it. You should send Stan Lee $1 for him and Jack Kirby by creating the mythos behind a story that you could celebrate now. Oh, Stan Lee was biting off the Black Panthers. Nigga, the Black Panthers came out after the comic book. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? Yo, I can't find Black Panther. I can't find the Black Panthers on Google. You probably wasn't looking for them before the movie, so cut it out. Y'all coming with this fake outrage, and it doesn't impress me. You need to try it on another channel with somebody else.
Look, buy my Wakanda hoodie, okay? I had my joint out a year ago. I jumped on it ASAP, and I created a beautiful image to go along with the narrative. I ain't wait. I got inspired. I got downloaded. I created this. I ain't stealing it off the internet. I created it.
Oh,
inspired. I had to get downloaded in order to fit all of these fragments together. I made a whole line. I got like 5 or 6 designs.
He was on top of this dude right here. Was on top of the Wakanda merchandise.
My shit wasn't moving because they didn't know what Wakanda was. They didn't know what Wakanda was till last week, bro. Okay? I don't want to hear it. Niggas is late to everything, even their own party. You feel me? They late to their own party. Whatever that shit shows up and look like, niggas will be late to it. So
And
they
then
can,
complain when you fashionably late.
and then complain. And they
We could
fast.
have had, as a community, we could have had a Wakanda weed strain. If that's so important to y'all, if y'all want to smoke the Wakanda, that shit could have been. It could have been ready. They
You
gave
could
you the. They gave you. Hold on. Hold on. These niggas gave you the Black Panther commercial a year ago. They gave niggas the alley oop a year ago. What are you talking about? What were y'all doing that whole year? Dick riding everybody else, what they doing? Following, you know what I mean? Chasing all of these dreams that the conscious community keeps selling y'all. So all I'm saying is stop dropping the ball, stop missing the dunk in the alley oop, and then getting on people. And then don't, if you're gonna be all complaining about it with your pity party, all I'm asking you is to take that shit that way. That way. With Quavo and them tell you that way, nigga. Like, look, nigga, that way. Like we in the Olympics. I throw it, nigga. Go to the Olympics. Go over there to North Korea.
South Korea. Go over there, South Korea.
Go to South Korea
Ulysses
to
Grant,
PF Chang.
Ulysses Claw, yeah, like if you hurry up now, you can still catch the Olympics with your ass. Right? Ulysses Claw ain't there no more.
Nigga, take that shit that way. You know what I'm saying? Y'all with this fake ass depression shit, man. Where's your imagination? We kept telling you, and then we talked about Afrofuturism. How many people have created a comic book where Killmonger is running shit? Like, don't try to depress me with all of this Killmonger talk. Why don't you just go ahead and use your artistic ability and create a novel or a graphic novel or a comic book? It could be a flip book. You know what I'm talking about? And push that shit.
Yeah, the alternative dimension.
An alternative dimension.
He threw T'Challa in the waterfall, and he got impaled. He ain't live. All right, and Killmonger went ham. Right, all the
Dude from Get Out with the Rhino went and
dog.
rescued him and put a leaf in his mouth. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want to hear all of this talk, man. Create your own reality or get out of get off the field, go back in the bleachers and just watch the game. Because you can do anything that you want to do. You just rather complain. You rather fuck. You're messing up the negative ions in the air.
They want to tear everything down, bro.
You what makes you happy?
Somebody, look, I was at dinner tonight, and somebody said somebody in the community, right? No names mentioned, did a live stream, right, the other night, and they was angry at the movie. Like they was just so much in their feelings, and they was talking about, yo, but it was so retarded. It was like a scene out of the movie. They were just harping on that. Oh, they was like, but the Black Panther, he kept taking drugs, and it's reinforcing the taking of drugs, and that's why we can't make it as a community because we taking drugs. And I had to ask. I was like, what are you talking about? What drugs was he taking? They was like, he kept drinking purple, like he was drinking. Like the purple herbs he was drinking was lean and something.
Right? He was drinking, sipping on that scissor.
He was sipping on the scissor to become the Panther, and that's gonna induce our children to want to sip on narcotics. And I was like, son, you can't be telling me that there are people in the community that are harping on this as talking points and using this as narratives. I said, I said, what? I can't believe this. Like, I don't even, and it's not, normally it would be like, yo, I can't believe it. I got to see this for myself. I can't even bring myself to viewing this because I'm so far removed from certain aspects of the community that it's like, I can't allow myself. I can't do that to myself. But why is this being allowed to be done to people at this time, like we said, when the atmosphere is being ionized with so much inspiration, when these babies, man, like bump everything else. What about the babies? What about their inspiration? Because they're not following same way that I could go back and see Superman today, and I'm gonna catch all of the highbrow subliminal messages that was being beamed to me. I didn't necessarily get that during the movie. You know what I'm saying? When I went to see it back in the day, right? Even if it made me feel like I wanted to be a Superman, granted. But now these children have something that's theirs. I didn't have that when I was growing up. You know what I'm saying? There was nothing on the screen to save me from a Tony Montana at
Yo,
that time.
you know what we had, family? Richard Pryor and Superman 3. Nigga, that's what we was holding on to.
Funny man.
James L. Jones and Conan.
We was funny man. We was holding on to funny man. He was
And
hella. That's what we knew. He was hella funny. He wasn't a superhero though, but he was hella funny. He stole a movie. Stole a movie. Stole a movie. Hella funny. Stole a movie.
hella funny. Superman
Okay?
3. And then heard that Marlon Brando blew his back out. So that shattered everything. That's all we had was Richard Pryor and Superman 3 when he was, remember when Superman became dark? It was evil Superman.
Zorro world, yeah. Right? Where we at right now. So babies.
The babies.
Babies look so gratified and satisfied. And they just running around talking about I'm this, I'm you know what I mean? Like they're picking different characters that they want to emulate. You know what I'm saying? They have this superhero approach now. They're you know what I mean? Their chin is up and is high and they're gonna go to work. They're gonna go to work. They're going to work right now in their imagination. They're creating. They're dreaming different dreams. It's ionizing the atmosphere. It's ionizing the astral plane differently. You know what I'm saying? What comes out of that? I don't know. Right? But I'm willing to gamble on that versus what we didn't have on February 15th. You dig what I'm saying? Because it was looking very bleak. And nobody was breaking their neck or spilling blood to do anything different to turn the tide. They was just bumping their gums. Let the
Fact.
baby have a moment, man. You old niggas need to sit the fuck down.
Fact.
Okay.
Because y'all not writing those stories for these babies. I don't see too many
stories.
writing those
You're not
stories.
putting on for these babies, right? Your narratives is not directed to these babies. I can tell the way that you talk.
Facts.
That you just want to hear yourself.
Facts.
You're not talking for these babies to hear you. You're not concerned with these babies developing a narrative based on whatever information that you're extracting about our glorious history, where these babies is like, oh, I want to be that. I want to put that on. That's the cloth that I need to reinforce my station and my being in a society. This is the coat. This is the layer. This is the armor I could put on and go to school because I'm being bullied.
You ain't giving them that chinchilla.
I'm being denoted. You know what I'm saying? I'm being reduced. Okay? You're not giving them no armor. You're not giving them no shield or no sword to go out there and do battle with. Sit down. Get out the way.
Get sat down. Straight up.
Stop harping on the nuances. The babies don't see that. They just see her heroism, right? And if they're smart enough, they will get the whole aspect of the character. Because like KT said, we T'Challa and we Killmonger. It's no one over the other.
Yeah, you
Stop sides, right?
Look.
Stop dealing with dualism.
Look.
Unify it.
Look.
Okay?
Odell
Understand
Beckham.
your own internal struggle.
Somebody said I got a baby bear on my shoulder. Beloved, I got that chinchilla. That's damn right. I got that chinchilla on my shoulder. Look, Quavo was the MVP at the All-Star game. That's their hero. You know what I'm saying? Odell Beckham, that's their hero. Little Yachty and them, that's their Takashi 6ix9ine. You understand? I don't like y'all not in these streets. I don't know what the hell is going on with some of these teachers that are claiming that they're teachers, but they're really reachers. And they're not, like you said, they're not factoring in the youth. They obviously don't have their ears to the culture. They're not attached to they're detached from the culture so much that they're not speaking to the future. These niggas is in the past, and that's dangerous. They have not adjusted their mentality. They have not upgraded their operating system to speak to the people who are going to build tomorrow. Okay? And the best way to even...
And you know what I won't do, I won't speak ill on them. You know what I'm saying? Because at this point, I'm so far. Like I said, I'm far removed, so I'm like almost saddened. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not even saddened for them. I'm saddened for the fact that they still have an audience and people are subjecting themselves to these conversations and this commentary. I don't even know where y'all find the time, but the fact that you do, and the fact that you're subjected to that, you know what I mean?
Sad.
I'm just kind of like embarrassed for the community. I'm embarrassed for, you know, those streets that we stood on and the work that we put in and the people that came before us. You know what I'm saying? And unfortunately, the fact that we might even be associated with some of that shit just based on proximity of association. Like, please don't put my name in sentences with none of these individuals because I don't know how they arrive at these conclusions. You know what I mean? It's just embarrassing. You know what I'm saying? It's embarrassing at this particular time, and it's really not helping. It's not helping. It's not pushing no narrative forward. You know, and nobody's ever gonna talk about a alternative. You know what I mean? No one's ever gonna be speaking of an alternative. The only thing that those people is there for is to tear shit down. That's what they show up for. And I totally understand that at this point. You know what I'm saying? That aspect of the community, that shit is just for demolition purposes.
Only for demolition purposes. You know what I'm
Only.
saying? In construction, you got people who build and you got people who come in for demo. I used to do demo in construction. I love to build, I love to destroy and break the walls down and pull the roofs down. And I was with all of that, to knock the drywall down, you know, because that's the easiest shit to do. It's not easy to build in construction. It's not easy to lay the foundation. It's not easy to put the wall up. It's not easy to build the roof. It's not easy to lay the concrete and watch it dry. It's easy to come in with the sledgehammer. It's easy to come in with the jackhammer and with all of these things and tear it down. That shit was like wreck. It was like a workout for me. We need to build. And if y'all keep destroying, you're going to pull the house down on your head. Already, the name consciousness is a fucking joke globally. You've reduced this whole community to a laughing stock. That's how far this shit has fallen from where it was set by the elders and the ancestors. I say ancestors because some of the elders who set the bar super duper high are in the ancestor realm and they're no longer with us. Crimes against humanity have been caused by some of these new Takashi 6ix9ine ass niggas. They've lowered the bar. It's almost so low, it's like a Tom and Jerry mousetrap. You understand what I'm trying to say to you? So they've disrespected the legacies of Dr. Ben. They've disrespected the legacy. Huh?
So you understand what I'm trying to say to you?
Yeah. Yeah.
I ain't out there.
You know, so like I said,
You know what I
you
mean?
know,
Can I before we conclude, I wanna get to this Malcolm X piece before we leave. I wanna venerate this ancestor, and just give, tie in some of the narrative that I was making an observation about. It was a beautiful the way that they lined this movie up, um, timing wise, proximity, the day before, Huey P. Newton's, you know,
one day.
born day, solar day. You know what I'm saying? Just so he can get some of that light, some of that shine. You know what I'm saying? Maybe he didn't get some of the coins of the bag, but he still had some of the equity by way of people being more conscious, of who the Black Panthers are and their contribution. You know what I'm saying? And he was a torchbearer, him and Bobby Seale. So I just wanted to just read something real quick. That good? That's cool.
Yeah, that's cool. Do you think?
It's beyond me that in 2018 we are talking about comic book heroes, but truth be told, the Marvel comic universe owes much to the real life heroism of our beloved brother Malcolm X. It is no secret that Stan Lee and Jack Kirby used the dichotomy of Martin Luther King and Malcolm X to frame the characters of Magneto and Professor X. The unfavorable treatment of the fallen gods in American society that we refer to as black people spawned the creation myth of mutants in the Uncanny X-Men series. It can be argued that the vacuum created by the execution of King and X made way for the rise of the Panthers in '66, months separated from the debut of the Marvel comic character, the Black Panther, who originally was named the Cold Tiger. The way the movie Panther told it, not Black Panther, but Panther, right, based on the Black Panthers, the way that the
Mm-hmm.
movie Panther told it, the Panthers were subverted by infighting and the outward crush of drugs by way of the pimp hustler, by way of the mob, should I say, the crush of the drugs via the pimp hustler by way of the mob who was working for the FBI/CIA to stop the rise of the Black Messiah in Oakland. Then came the gangs, right? Those with eyes to see could have seen all of these dynamics come to a precipice this weekend, every single last one of them. This picture tells a lot of stories. I can't get into all of this in the status. Maybe KT will let me get into my juxtaposing narrative tomorrow at the Black Panther Decoded. I owe a lot to these two icons. In honor of humility, rest in peace, great ones. In the picture that I'm making reference to um, is a post that I had up with Malcolm X and his grandson, Malcolm Shabazz, right? So what happened is a few years ago, this might have been 2007, February 21st is a day that I venerate. You know what I'm saying? I treat it like a national holiday. I normally don't even go outside. I just pay respect and homage to our brother Malcolm X. This is the day that he transitioned, the day that he was executed, right, in the Audubon Ballroom by a Killmonger, right? So this one year, I find myself, I go outside, you know what I mean? I go to a Barnes and Nobles, right, downtown Brooklyn. Okay, um, I can't remember exactly what happened, but for whatever reason, I was stopped by a police officer. Okay, and this police officer ran my information. Come to find out, unbeknownst to me, almost impossible to me, I had a warrant according to this officer, right?
What year
So
was it?
this is like 2007, right? So I'm placed in custody, okay, because I got a warrant. They send me to Rikers Island, right? My warrant is from Westchester, right? It's from White Plains for a case that I had caught in like '03. Okay. So I get the warrant. I'm on Rikers Island waiting for Westchester to come and get me. They come and get me. They send me to Valhalla, right? So I go to Valhalla. They send me to the J unit. Okay. I'm in the J unit of Valhalla. I ain't got nothing. Right before I get incarcerated, I see Hypnotic Brass Ensemble in concert with Mos Def, right? We was at the band, Brooklyn Academy of Music. All right. I'm on stage with them. They're performing live instrumentation for Mos Def, who's doing covers for raps, right? He's rhyming Biggie Smalls. He's rhyming all of the great rap songs of the era, and he's using his live band, my people's out of Chicago, Hypnotic Brass Ensemble. At this point in time, when I'm hearing this, I'm getting my eureka moment to say, yo, this spoken word poetry that I've been writing will sound perfect with this live jazz instrumentation behind it, right? So now I find myself getting incarcerated a few days later. So I utilize that time, right, to write out what I at that time planned was going to be my next album, right? But it was spoken word. So I'm writing all of these poems out and I'm sharing them with the people in the unit, right? The little YGs and everything, you know what I'm saying? The knuckle draggers and everything, right? That's in my unit. I was bringing them to tears, okay? Because they said they never heard narrative that strong before. Brother that was sharing a bunk with me said, look, I'm going home. I'm never selling a drug again in my life. I'm going to take the money that I have stashed and I'm going to buy a studio so we can record what you just spit because the whole world needs to hear this. He was a firm believer, right? In this particular piece of work that I was crafting up. At that time, I wrote on the cover of the book that I had compiled because I'm spilling. I got time on my hand. I'm just pushing, you know what I'm saying, poem after poem after poem out. I named the book The Blue Pill, right? At that time, I was confused. I thought the blue pill was supposed to be the red pill. I thought that the blue pill was the one that you take, did take. I got it mixed up. There was a person in the unit that I was in who fashioned the cover for me, right? Out of graffiti. He wrote the blue pill on the cover of the book in graffiti. It was so beautiful that I was like, yo, I'm gonna get the book published just like this. I'm not gonna change nothing because the cover was crazy. It was a piece of artwork on it. I was doing my workout, you know what I mean? I was getting buff and everything. I drunk milk during this bid. That's why I know that milk got steroids because I was only working out for 2 weeks and it was the biggest I had ever been. But I also know strategically when you work out between the time of February 21st to March 28th, I'm giving y'all my workout secrets. All right. When you work out during this pocket of time, you can lock yourself to the heliacal. I might be saying the word wrong, but what I'm saying is you're locking yourself into the cycle when the sun is going into an ascension phase, right? This is when it's nearing the spring equinox. So when you lock your workout regimen into this small cycle of time, February 21st, when our prince may transition up into the rising of the sun, which is the king, right, into the spring, you can gain exponential gains during this period in time. The neutrinos that come from the sun are more powerful now than they are going to be throughout the rest of the year. This is according to me and my regiment. So I started mine yesterday. You feel me? And I'm gonna run straight into March 28th. And I'll take my shirt off and show you what I came up with. You dig what I'm saying?
Nah, nigga, this is not you, not Killmonger or T'Challa. When we started this live stream, you had your tank top on. I told you put some clothes on, nigga. We not gonna start disrobing for the ladies because you niggas seen Black Panther. Okay, all right.
So let me get back to the story. So I was working out, doing my thing and everything. and the unit that I was in was infested with bloods. All right. All these niggas on a gang banging shit, right? You know what I'm saying? It was blood this, blood that. I'm not there for none of that bullshit. So I was just minding my business and looking at these dudes and not being judgmental, just like under my breath, like y'all niggas is bozos. Like this is some retarded shit. Bloods on the East Coast, and it was just some retarded shit. So it was just one brother that was just playing himself every chance because he would be on some tough Tony shit, and then the minute he leave the unit, the people that's supposed to be his homies was talking crazy about him, and it was just some bozo shit. It was just buffoonery that I was looking at, and I wasn't there for none of that shit. It was just corny, you know what I'm saying? And none of these niggas was working out. Was nobody getting their mind right? Nobody was reading. Nobody was doing nothing. But they would gather around when I was spitting. You know what I'm saying? And they would give props and everything. And I heard like I heard more information on Jadakiss that I needed to hear in that short amount of time. Like niggas would come to jail and tell all your business, and they had microphones and cameras and all that shit in the unit. Niggas was just yapping away, talking about things that my ears did not need to hear. But you know, long story short, so my celly at the time, the brother that said that he was gonna go home and build a studio because he wanted to hear this poetry on wax. This brother, me and him was chopping it up one day, and he's like, yeah, like these brothers, these bozo niggas, they need to be doing something different with their life. They're not cut out for this, you know what I'm saying? Gangsterism is not them. They need to be trying something else. He was like, especially this nigga right here, he need to be doing something else, you know what I'm saying, with his background, being that this is Malcolm X's grandson and everything. I was like, whoa, hold on. Then the shit hit me like a ton of bricks. I'm like, whoa. He running around, his name is Shabazz. You know what I mean? I can see the resemblance all of a sudden, and it just all dawned on me. I remember the Betty Shabazz story. We all grew up hearing about that. You know what I mean? I'm like, oh, someone's upstate. He lived, oh, okay, someone's in Westchester when he did that. So now I'm looking at son like, this is Malcolm Shabazz. This is the brother that they accused of killing Betty Shabazz.
And the
And this is
arson.
the next grandson. This is the arsonist. So I'm watching him from a distance now, like totally different. I'm just watching him, for like 2 days straight. I just observed his ways and his means, his movements, and he was running around the unit, think that they had gave him the title of superior at that time. Niggas would be running around with this superior title and shit, you know. I'm like, he's a blood superior? Like what? Fuck? So I let 2 days pass, and I caught him when none of his homies was around. He was just by himself, right? There was a few people in the unit. I pressed him. You know what I'm saying? I pressed this brother for 2 hours straight. Now, I don't know tough shit. I'm saying I was pouring into this brother from my heart, right? Like, yo, son, you know who you are? You know what I'm saying? And I
Mm-hmm.
had to explain and express to him, I'm like, yo, do you know that the Bloods and the Crips are street organizations that came about because of the vacuum that was created by the assassination of your grandfather? You know what I'm saying? And he kind of got it like, oh, okay. So this is why they made me a superior. You know what I'm saying? This is why they bestowed upon me this honorary superiorism. Because I'm like, I know you didn't put in work for this. Because you're not a work putting in type of individual. I can look at you and tell this is not you. And I'm just pouring at him like, yo, son, this is not you. Your calling is something different. So I had to sit there and explain to him what the conscious community was. I explained to him, I got into this whole narrative about the Moors because I was like, yo, your grandfather stood for human rights, not civil rights. He started a mission, but he didn't finish it. Maybe that's your calling. You know what I'm saying? I'm just pouring it to the point where I was crying at some point. Like I had tears coming out of my eyes and I'm shaking like, yo, I'm never going to get this opportunity again. It's dawning on me that my bed is 16, his bed is 7th. You know what I'm saying? the whole narrative about the seventh son kicks in. He even knows what this is about, the prophecy, right? Because Malcolm X only had daughters, and they prophesied that the seventh one would be the seed. He was the seventh one. He had been targeted all of his life. Now he started sharing his life story with me. Yo, son, I I used to be in the crib. I would be visiting family on Fifth Avenue because he lived in the P's that was like in the 50s, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, yo, the curtain shades will be pulled down. He's like, I would get a phone call from phone numbers that had like 11 digits in it, zeros and ones or some shit like that. He'll answer it, and motherfuckers would be on the phone telling him everything that he had on. So he was shook. You know what I'm saying? He said he didn't know who his grandfather was until he went to jail because his parents was trying to shelter him, right? His parents, his grandparents were sheltering him. So they never told him who his grandfather was because they didn't want him to follow down that road. Because remind you, his mother and them saw their father get assassinated on stage. So they were shook. Okay. They never shared with him who he was the bloodline of. He found that shit out when he got up north. Okay. Some elders pulled him aside and had to tell him who the fuck he was when he was in jail, son. He didn't know. He was walking around all the time with no knowledge of who he was. Okay? And he was doing meds because his mother was kind of off. You know what I'm saying? And it trickled down to him. They was telling him, his mother was telling him that Malcolm X was his father. When I think his father was a French Algiers man. He didn't know that either. You dig what I'm saying? And he looked me in my eye and told me he didn't kill his grandmother. He said when he came home, there was some people. There was some people in the hoods or some shit. I'm not even gonna repeat all that, but he told me that he didn't do it. All right. I poured into this young man with every fucking thing that I had in me to be like, son, please, whatever you do, don't do this shit. Okay? Because you're not gonna fucking live long doing this shit. You know what I'm saying? I can see death on you. Like these niggas gonna eat you alive. This is not your life. You're not made for this. This is not what you cut out to do, right? And these gang niggas, these are underlings to your grandfather. All right. So lo and behold, whatever I must have came there to do, I had done because in a few days they called me and I was up out of there. You dig what I'm saying? And he had, I had told him about, I was like, yo, I'm cool with most. He was like, yo, mad at these rappers, dudes, said that they was gonna be in communication with me and come and see me, and nobody ever did. I was like, son, the only thing I could promise you is that I'm gonna get the information to who it needs to get to. So he had wrote his inmate information on the inside page of the book, the poetry that I had wrote called Blue Pill. Okay, so I took it home. I got one copy of this book made, right? And I have my original. I gave the copy to Mos Def. He's the only person on the planet in possession of the copy of the original book that I have called The Blue Pill. So I used to bring this book outside with me. I used to hustle on 125th across the street from Sarnetta. I couldn't hustle next to Sarnetta during those times because he was driving all the customers away with that goddamn bullhorn. So me and Majesty was hustling in front of the Apollo. Brother Amoon, right? Who what's the other name they call it? Huh?
Marcus.
Marcus, right?
Not young Marcus. Amoon is older.
Other brother named Marcus, who we call Amoon. Marcus used to come across the street. He used to ask me to read him some of that poetry every single day. Like this powerful, this is the most powerful shit that I ever wrote. You know what I'm saying? And he will run and tell everybody, like, yo, the blue pill, yo, he got the blue pill. He would just keep saying blue pill, blue. I think at that time my name was P Moore, right? I just came, I was doing my writing, my journalism, and that's the name. P Morpheus is what I used to go under. So because of him constantly saying blue pill and Sarnetta always, that's Sarnetta, he had that shit locked in his head with whatever he would refer to me, he would say the blue pill, the blue pill, the blue pill. He said this shit so much that I fucking had to adopt the goddamn name because I couldn't shake it. Everywhere I would go now, that's all they would be calling me was the blue pill, the blue pill. I did not want to be called the fucking blue pill because when I got home, I found out that the blue pill was not the pill that you take to wake up. But because I was so much in love with the graffiti writing on the book and I wanted to get this book of poetry out, I stuck with that name. I was like, you know what? Fuck it. It must be here for a reason. I'm gonna call myself the blue pill. You know what I'm saying? So I
Hello? Yo, your camera frozen, bro. Broski. Yo. What the hell? Okay, one or two